How are you doing, Modern Shavers? It's Terry here. As you can see, I've got a little bit of growth here. I don't have heavy stubble like most guys do, but this is a few days growth. I've been a little absent from YouTube because I had my appendix taken out last week on Sunday. So I've been going through a little bit of pain. I'm still in my recovery stage, and so that's why I haven't been making any videos for the last week and a bit, 2 weeks maybe. So I thought I would do another straight razor shave of the day for you. So the first thing we want to do is clean our razor. I'll just dispose of that. Don't need that anymore. Oops. Get a close up of this. You can see that there's a bit of grime on the razor. Now this is the virgin shave. I've never used it before. I have put extra oil on it before, and the oil has kind of dissipated somehow. A really nicely built razor. I like the jimps on the bottom here. That's going to prevent you from accidentally slipping or having it slip out of your hand. Sorry, moving out of focus there. Made in the USA, it says there. I think the BG is the initials of the person that actually made this razor. There's a hex screw right there. Cocobolo finish. I'm not sure what they use to seal the wood. Could be a CA finish, I'm not sure exactly. As you can see, it's a one-piece scale. From a manufacturing standpoint, it's a lot easier to make a one-piece scale than to have to peen like they used to do in the olden days. I've got a little bit of corrosion right there where my fingertip is. I'll have to buff that out one day. So this is a 7/8 square tip. So the first thing we need to do is actually clean the razor. So to clean the razor, all we need to do is grab a bit of tissue paper. And give it a little wipe. And I'm just kind of doing a light stropping motion just to get that oil off. Of course, you don't want to go this way because you might cut your finger or cut the paper, and the cellulose in the toilet paper might actually harm the edge of that blade. Now this razor is supposed to be shave ready, so we'll see if it is when I get it out of this, or when I finish stropping it and actually shave with it. So since this is going to be my shave of the day, I'm going to talk about what I'm going to use for software. Proraso green, Proraso white for my pre-shave. My aftershave will be Tolsom. And this is a new product that I've had for a little while, but I've never talked about it. Is the Buddah all organic hemp cream. I'll bring that in a little closer. Buddah all organic hemp cream. Says here it's got THC, but I'm not too concerned about that because I'm not consuming it. I'm just putting it on my screen, on my skin rather. That's going to be hard to see, so I'll have to read that for you. I got bad eyesight, sorry. Suggested use: arthritis, eczema, psoriasis, chronic muscle pain, inflammation, natural SPF. Now I originally bought this stuff for my psoriasis, and I have some really good ointment which cost me $80 unfortunately for that ointment, but my Medicare covers it thankfully. Doesn't cover this. This was $35 I believe from a dispensary. I thought it would be better because being that it's natural, I thought that it would be better, but it doesn't seem to be working better than the ointment that I've got, which comes from a pharmaceutical company, which I won't bother mentioning. So it's good for muscle pain, but I haven't used it for that purpose yet. I'll tell you what the ingredients are: organic shea butter, organic coconut oil, organic castor oil, organic jojoba oil, essential oils, tetrahydrocannabinol, and cannabidiol. Cannabinoids, basically. I bought this because of the cannabinoids that are in here, as well as the terpenes, and it also smells amazing. So I'm going to use this as my aftershave balm. So that's my regimen today. So the first thing we need to do is to strop our straight razor. So I'm going to adjust the camera, and I'm going to do that without cutting. The strop that I'll be using today is an heirloom strop, red Latigo strop by the Heirloom Razor Strop Company. Now I've got some, I can't remember what it was. It might have been a little bit of chromium oxide that I put on this lid inside here. So I'm going to start off by doing 30 strokes on that. Now my razor's a little loose, so I'm just gonna quickly tighten this in the background. Fortunately, I've got my X key handy right here. So I went from here, just about here. Now it's too tight. Okay, that's better. So for those beginners that are not familiar with stropping, I'll go slowly for this. Sorry, the angle's not very good here. Let me adjust it for you guys. Oh, but before I continue, let me talk about this hook here that I installed. If you're going to be installing a hook like this, make sure that you've got it secured into a wall stud. And if there's no wall stud behind there, then you want to use reinforcers, those plastic grommets. Of course, you're going to need to drill a slightly larger hole in order for that piece of plastic to fit into your drywall here. If you're going to concrete, you might be good just using the appropriate screws. I don't know if you'll need any reinforcers, but that's something that you can decide with your home hardware department or the hardware store. Make sure you get one with 4 screws. I've seen some of these hooks with just 2 screws, and if you're just using 2 screws, it may not be strong enough if you're going to be reefing on this a lot. Depends on how strong you are, of course, but I got one with 4 screws, as well as a hook that actually curves back a bit. This way, I'm confident that when I'm pulling on it, this thing isn't going to accidentally slip out. Not only that, it also gets a little thicker towards the end, so that's going to definitely prevent that from slipping out. The last thing you want is to have this slip off as you're pulling it, and then have the razor cut into the strop or have it fly in your face, because that can be really, really scary. Those straight razors can cut through skin like butter, trust me. I haven't done it in a while, but I have cut myself before when I was first restoring straight razors, but anyhow, that's another story. So what you want to do is make sure that you've got 4 screws here that will allow you to secure this hook securely against the wall. Okay? So when you're grabbing it, I like to grab both handles. Oops, sorry. I like to grab both of these handles, not just the top one. That way the bottom strop isn't dangling and it's not moving back and forth, which would affect the flatness of the strop. So by grabbing both of them and pulling on both of them, I'm going to get a nice taut strop. So unfortunately I can't get the whole thing in focus, but hopefully that works for you. I'll see what I can do about. Oh, I accidentally cut it right there. Shit. Oh, whatever. So you don't want to get into the part here where there's writing. Right here. You want to stop right there, because that's not necessarily flat. It's got some raised parts here, and if your blade glides over it, you could wind up affecting the straightness of this edge here. Now, it's important that you do not take this razor off the strop. The spine always stays on. I've seen some users lift it up and then go down again. Well, if you do that, you might wind up curling this edge here, which is not a good thing. And then you'll have to re-hone your blade, or worse yet, you might even nick your strop. Now the strop here is wide enough that it actually fits my whole edge here, so I don't need to do any X strokes. X stroke is like this, where you start off with the spine or the heel of the blade and then work towards the toe. Just keep it nice and taut. And when you're honing a straight razor, the same thing goes. You don't want to be lifting that razor. I've seen people hone their straight razors and they wind up lifting it off the hone itself. That's bad practice in my opinion, because you could wind up nicking your blade. So you always want to keep your blade on your strop or on your hone. I didn't really count, but that's good enough. So this is a really nice strop, and I've taken really good care of it. I've owned it for 7 years, 6 to 7 years. I don't use it as much as my other strop because it's not really my daily strop. It's just kind of one of those things that I want to keep for a long time. Okay, so this razor's ready to go. So we're just going to let that brush soak for a bit. So I'm going to use my Proraso shave soap here. So, gotta stand here for the rest of my shave. So after this is gonna be my new shave mug, by the way. It's one of my favorite Japanese tea mugs, but I chipped it, as you can see here. Maybe you can't, but I chipped it when I was washing it. So unfortunately, I don't really feel like using it for drinking tea anymore. I don't know if the heat would actually cause this to crack, so I've decided to use it as my shaving mug now. So upcycle. So one nice thing about this shave mug is that I had some hot water in here and it's nice and warm, so that's gonna get transferred to my foam, which is gonna be awesome. Won't need to use a scuttle. What I might do is, for those of you that don't want to spend 40, 50, 60 bucks for one of those modern day scuttles, I might show you guys how to make a poor man scuttle, or a nice double layered earthenware scuttle. It's one of those DIY projects. My camera just cut out on me. Gotta get myself a proper video camera, but for now, that's gonna have to do. So I'm loading up my brush. Sorry, I should do it higher. Gonna to lower this just a bit here. Would you guys like me to do a video on how to lather up a brush? If that's something that you guys want to see, let me know. I'll do one, and I'll show you like 3 or 4 different soaps and how to lather them if you want. Nice to have some communication from my viewers. It's still a new channel, so it would be awesome to get some feedback. So I like to leave about a teaspoon of water in here. I'm really liking this mug. It's got a nice height to it. That's the height of the brush or the mug. At this point I didn't have enough water, so I'm going to add a few more drops of water here. That's what it looks like so far. One nice thing about this teacup is that the inside is actually not super smooth. It's glazed, so it's smooth in a sense, but it's also got ridges on it, or bumps, and that's going to help me with lather creation, I would assume. Now, I've never used this teacup as a shave mug, so this is new. It's got a couple of indentations here as well. You can't really tell, but perfect for my fingers to hold it in place so it doesn't slip away from me. I think I loaded up quite a bit of soap onto my brush, so it's taking a little longer than I anticipated. There we go. Get your close up of this. No problem. You see when you shake it that the tip doesn't move? That's, in cooking terms, that's called stiff peaks. And that's exactly what we want. Stiff peaks. Okay, so since my face has cooled down a bit, I'm going to apply my hot towel again, followed by my pre-shave. Then I can apply my soap. Now, I don't always use my pre-shave, but I recently bought it like a couple of weeks ago, or maybe a month ago, I don't know. So I'll just use it from time to time, just to change things up. Life is all about adventure, right? And sorry, just want to make sure we focus there. Life is all about adventure, and having the same thing over and over again every day is kind of boring. And like, you wouldn't eat steak and potatoes every day, would you? Well, some people might, but I couldn't do it every single day. Now, some guys get growth all around their face. I only get it along the sideburns, not so much hair, but it collects hair and the mustache area. A little bit hair, but not too much. So you only really need to put the stuff on wherever you're going to be shaving, right? Now, the objective of lather is to make your hairs stand up so that when you're cutting it, you can cut it easily. So for guys that have really long stubble, you might want to just brush upwards at the end. I don't have that problem, fortunately, but by brushing upwards against the grain, you increase your chances that those hairs are going to be pointing upwards, thus making your shave more efficient. I'm just drying off my hands. I don't want to be touching my straight razor with wet hands. Because I got some soap on my hands too. Shaving with wet hands is not a good idea because you are probably going to lose the razor. It might slip out of your hands and you might nick yourself, or you might damage the blade. So just something to think about. Firsthand, my first impression is that it's pulling a little bit, so that tells me it's not really shave ready. I'm trying to shave with using the LCD lens, but it's not very easy. So at this point I like to switch to my left hand here, just to do my sideburn. So I'll probably have to touch this razor up, and once again I'm using my sponge to clean off the blade. Make sure the sponge is dry. If it's wet, it'll just make a mess of everything, so make sure the sponge is dry. Of course, don't use the green side. That's just so that it won't slip around on me. And I also know that side is the dirty side, or the side that I don't want to use. So, because if it was all yellow, you might put this bottom side on the counter. It'll pick up dust and stuff. You want that on your razor. So this always goes down, and it's easy to tell. Okay, at this point my the soap is drying out on me. I'm just going to apply a little bit more here. Now when I was doing this part, I can use the tip comfortably, but right there, I'm not flexible enough at this point because of my surgery to actually shave with the tip. So I had to use the back end of the heel of the blade. So a properly honed razor should be sharp at all points on the edge. If it's not, you're going to notice it. So that's just something to look out for when you're honing a razor yourself or paying someone to hone it. The tip, 2 points in the middle, and the heel should all be equally sharp. Just to let you know. Helps to be ambidextrous when you're straight razor shaving, but I'm far more comfortable using my right hand than I am using my left hand, obviously. Okay, so that's your first pass, which we refer to as with the grain for you newbies. I don't always do 3 passes, so we'll see how things feel after the second pass. And what's the second pass called? Across the grain. There's the spot there. Now one thing about a square tip is that when you're getting under your chin like so, there's a strong chance that you'll nick your chin right there with the square tip. That's why they call these spike tips. So you got to be really careful if you're a new shaver to watch that spike. Even back here, I can easily nick my ears when I'm going up. So you got to be really careful. For that reason, using a round tip is advisable for newer straight razor users. I just felt the tip bite in there. Fortunately, I let the pressure go. So you got to know when to ease off on your stroke so that you don't cut yourself. So being able to puff out my lower lip allows me to shave this area here. And one thing I'm noticing about this Proraso is that it's drying out on me really quickly. And some users will apply glycerin to their shaving mug when they apply their soap or when they're lathering their soap. And you can do that too if you want this to be lubricate a little bit better. I think one of the reasons why it's drying out on me is because it's a cooler day today, so it's not as humid. So I think the air is just pulling out the moisture a little bit quicker. Don't be afraid to apply the lather again, or apply more lather. Last thing you want is to have it dry out on you, because then it's no longer lubricating your skin. Now obviously I can't go this way, so I'm going this way for my across the grain pass. It's getting caught on my chin here, so I have to take it really slowly. Now you can go from nose to ear or from ear to nose, whichever works for you. And I don't have any preference, I just do whatever feels comfortable. So at this point, I like to just kind of feel my face and see what I've missed. Just a little bit there. This is okay. Just a couple of strands down here. That's not super smooth, so I'll do an against the grain pass in that area here as well. It's okay here. So this area, maybe a little bit there and there. And rather than having to think where I need to apply the lather, I'll just naturally do it everywhere. It's just a lot easier that way, and I've got enough lather to finish off my face anyways. First, make sure the hands are dry, like I said earlier. So I'll just go over the strokes again. So this is with the grain pass, so you're going down, and this is against the grain. You might have to turn around this way to go that way, and against the grain. Second pass was across the grain. I can't remember what I said, but and then third pass is upwards, like so. So just now I felt it bite into my neck. Fortunately, I didn't cut myself, but it's just something you have to get used to when you're using a spike tip. As soon as I feel it dig, I ease off on the pressure. Now I'm going to have to go back to my mirror because I can't really see too clearly off that little LCD screen. Now that's much better. For some reason my camera keeps cutting out on me. Now you probably saw my earlobe move there, but I was quick to respond. Oh, there goes again. I got bad eyesight, so I have to be really careful. Now there's one more pass, which I haven't ever brought up yet, and that's called the Fool's Pass. Fool's Pass is the against the grain pass where you're going upwards. And it's called a fool's pass because if you're new to straight razor shaving and somehow you slip, there's a strong chance you're going to cut your nostril off. So, got to be really careful. You don't have to do this fool's pass, and it's not recommended for new users. And I've seen some people go like this, which is really foolish. You want to do it slowly, and you want to stretch your skin and just go a little bit at a time. And I will use the camera here. Don't feel like you have to rush this part, eh? So you might have to adjust the angle of your blade just so that it works with the curvature of your lip. And that takes some practice. You just have to get used to it. And each person's face is different, so I'm not going to tell you how to hold it. You'll have to learn that yourself. But as you might want to rewind this, but as you saw me doing it, I did adjust the angle of my blade. Especially whenever it catches, so you have to adjust the angle in order for it to shave properly. Well, I got a little bit more there, so I'm going to get that. Okay, so my battery's just about to die right now. I wanted to do this as one video, but unfortunately the battery's going to die. So I'm going to have to change the battery. In fact, I'll just wait for it to die. Maybe I can finish this video off. So I rinse it with hot water, and I'm just gonna give it a little wipe. Don't get water into this area. Just rinse the blade because that's the only area that needs to be rinsed. So I'll continue finishing it off later. I just want to clean off my face now. So I like to rinse off with lukewarm water, and then I finish off with a cold towel. And as I mentioned in my previous videos, you want to start off with a hot towel to open up the pores and relax the hairs. And then you want to use a cold towel to close it up, tighten your skin again, and then finish off with an aftershave. Let that dry off. Here's my aftershave. I like Old Spice, but today I thought I would just change it up. Okay, so at this point you can use this Proraso white as your aftershave ball if you want, but today I'm going to use this Buddah which I mentioned. From time to time I'll use this Sukin facial moisturizer as my aftershave balm, but I'll use this today. It smells amazing. I don't know how to describe it, but it just smells amazing. I love this stuff. So just to let you know, I wasn't paid to advertise or promote Hart Razor or Buddah. However, to the makers of Hart Razor and Buddah, if you want to send me any of your products for future reviews, I'd be happy to entertain. You can contact me through my Dropbox or email below. If you have any questions, please comment in the box below and I'll get back to you. If you like this video, please share and please subscribe because I need more subscribers. And as always, like the video, and if you have any suggestions for a future video, please tell me in the Dropbox. I'll be happy to entertain. Okay, so that's my shave of the day. Stay sharp, stay clean. We'll see you next time. Thanks guys, take care.